Hey there, partner. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be starting the show real soon, so go ahead and grab some popcorn, stare up into the stars, and imagine the horrors that exist beyond our comprehension. This is Scare by Scare.
Hey, loyal listeners. Look who's back. It's our old friend, Alex Brownie Yeager.
Aaron Yeg. Yeah. What a buck.
Yeah.
Winnebago.
This is as good as an introduction as we've had.
Perfect. Well, the gang's all here, and for those who listened last week, we told y'all we're gonna have something special this week, and we didn't give y'all a movie to watch. But if you wanted to watch a movie and went ahead, let us know down below what movie you watched and how you liked it.
And we'll watch it someday.
No,
Watch it with
unless
you,
it's a bad
the listener.
movie. If you recommend a really bad movie, we're not gonna watch it.
I'll watch it.
Okay, Trace will watch it. But what we're doing this week, because it's our special anniversary episode, we decided to talk about things that as kids or younger than we are now scared us while we were kids.
Like last
scary
year.
things. So yeah, that's the general theme for this episode. And one thing I want to get started off that came to me in a prophetic vision yesterday at about 10:30 was there. I used to watch NCIS with my parents. That sounds old and lame, but I did. I watched.
Oh,
NCIS.
we talked about this actually.
Yeah, and there was an episode where this the murderer lady, she like stabbed her husband with a screwdriver a bunch, and then like threw him in a smokestack, and then he got all shriveled. And that I could not watch NCIS anymore after that. It scared the shit out of me. Because of I was like, damn, if this is a tame episode, what about the crazy episodes?
Crazy.
It was a wild time for Marshall. But let's hear from y'all. What were some other scary things? I got a whole bunch of them because I was a little scaredy cat back in the day.
Yeah, you were.
Still am, but whatever.
I remember growing up with Marshall on the streets. He's terrified of everything.
So, I believe I mentioned it frequently, but Coraline scared the absolute fucking shit out of me when I first watched it.
And now it's just
like
a joke.
Yeah.
Now we just.
I mean, no, it still holds up creepy as hell.
I never
like
finished it as a kid. I stopped. I was like, Dad, I'm gonna go to bed. Actually,
What if buttons are in my eyes?
It was too
Marshall
freaky.
buttoning up his pants.
It's too scary. I don't know. A lot of movies scared me as a kid. Like
Marshall, could you just turn on that blender? Yeah, how, Dad? Just push that button.
let's see. Another one was Jaws. I remember my dad was like, "You having trouble sleeping?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because of Jaws." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm like, the shark's gonna get me." He looks over at the toilet, which is like the only body of water near me. He goes, "It doesn't fit in that," and then he leaves. Which is like, it makes sense, but little old Marshall's like, "No, it's gonna squeeze through."
See,
Yeah.
my parents tried a similar tactic with Coraline. They were like, "Don't worry, the other mother won't get you. She hated her parents, and you don't, right?"
Right?
Jobe standing there in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, my dad would just do this thing where he wouldn't necessarily misinform me of things. He would just
Would
not tell me
lie.
the truth, and he would let me believe things. So I was terrified of outlets as a child.
Like
Because-
electrical outlets.
Yeah, because
Like the
as a
mall?
kid, I went, "That's cool." I poke it, and it shocks me, as an outlet would if you stick your finger in it.
Yeah.
And I equated that to, "Hey, Dad, there's a spiders live in the outlets, and one just bit me." And he just never told me that wasn't true, because I think that was his way of going, "Dipshit's not going to put his finger in the outlet anymore. We're just going to let this go." So for years, I just went, yeah, that's where the spiders are, and I don't want to get bit by a spider again.
When did you learn that there wasn't spiders in the outlets?
Probably when I was like 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. I was really scared you were gonna say like 18.
Okay, fine. It was last year.
Probably when I put a plug in the outlet and a spider didn't die.
I
Spider
could totally
stopped
picture
jumping out at
though
me.
young Trace being told like, no, it's not spiders, it's electricity, and the wall be like, wow, I could be an electric
What's
man.
That being said, I did a few years back have an ant colony living in an outlet, and it was short circuited my room, so we had to get that taken care of. So it's not too far off. Spiders and ants, you know.
I mean, we had an ant colony live in our modem at one point, and they made our internet slow.
Yeah.
And made it real slow.
Spiders or the fucking ants taking all the fucking bandwidth.
Fucking playing Clash of Clans on Wi-Fi.
They're all playing Fortnite. That's the 99 other people you're playing with.
That'd be pretty sick.
The last movie that I can think of right now that scared me as a kid is it's not even that scary. It was Star Trek: The Next Generation movie, First Contact, where they go back in time and have to face the Borg. And the whole idea of the Borg is they're like assimilating like different races and stuff to make them, and puts like robot bits on them and stuff. They're just kind of freaky because they just kind of adapt. That's their whole bit, right? And they're like, listen, we're going to get 2 shots off or else they're going to adapt. And then they go, pew, one dies, pew, one dies. And then the third pew just kind of goes over the board. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's terrifying. And I slept in my parents' room that night on an air mattress.
What the fuck? Your childhood seems like a trip.
If you look up the board, it looks so bad because it was like, I don't remember when that movie came out, like forever ago, like when Picard looked young, 1996. So if you can imagine, it's a little dated, but I'm like freaked out about this in like 2000.
I mean, to be fair, because there wasn't great like effects back then, yeah, shit just looked creepy because it's like we do what we could work with, you know?
Yeah, it was just kind of crazy. It freaked me out. It
was kind of spooky.
It is very spooky.
I'm the only one that hasn't shared a memory yet, so I'm gonna do that.
Brownie.
Yippee!
Poking him with a stick. Come on, share.
When Joe told me the prompt of the episode, the first thing that came to mind was when I was a small lad, I was at daycare, and I was probably in like kindergarten or something, and their idea of a good time was like, let's show the little kindergartners Goosebump and see where that leads to. And the episode they showed us was the Haunted Mask, and
that's a good one.
That episode is still like one of the best Goosebumps episodes, but like as a small child, I was like, I don't want a mask to get stuck on my face forever. That sounds awful. And from that moment forward, I was so terrified that I wouldn't wear a full mask that covered your entire head until I was at least 16. Like, I was terrified.
That's pretty good.
No, that's fair. My cousin was afraid of the Slappy episode.
Yeah, I never watched the TV show. I read the books because I was a little nerd. But the Night of the Living Dummy book definitely freaked me out. I'm like, oh my god, it's actually alive. Like, not as a bit.
What if any of my dolls are? And it's not a Toy Story situation, but a Goosebumps situation. Alive.
Oh my god.
Oh god, they'd fuck you up. They got weapons.
What I want you to do is go watch. They don't have an episode for the first book, but go watch Night of the Living Dummy 3, because 1, it has Hayden Christensen in it when he's a small kid.
That's fine.
No kidding.
And
that's
2,
awesome.
And 2, you can tell the difference between like them using the dummy and them putting like either a child or a small person in a costume with a mask on, because you can see the person running, and then like when they're like moving their arms around, they're just like stationary like this with their hands. They're like, why you see?
The Goosebumps movie with Jack Black.
It's
quite fun, actually. It's not super scary, but it is fun. I'll put it that way.
I need to watch. I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, like, I watched it.
Surprising.
It's not scary. at all. Like really? I mean, there's
That's
a couple
good.
scary bits. You could admit. You could see it in a certain way. There's some scary bits. But for the most part, it's kind of just funny.
It's the part where Jack Black starts shouting Nacho.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Let's see. I mean, one of the most prevalent ones we've mentioned on the show is the Kim Possible
Oh yeah.
episode with the swamp. I don't even remember what it's called. Trace has it like
I'll get
ingrained
on
in
it.
his memory, but I had like recurring nightmares for like 2 years about this episode for some reason, and it always ended with me hiding in a mailbox.
Now,
Yeah,
Gang.
Gil Moss was the Black Lagoon swamp monster.
when you say hiding in a mailbox, hold on. When you say hiding in a mailbox, are you talking like the outgoing post box, the blue one on the street corner, or are you talking like a
like the one in front of your house? I would just
tiny-ass
squeeze
mailbox
in
that you cram?
that was malleable. It was like Play-Doh as a kid.
Oh my god, that guy, the guy who voiced that was the older brother in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah,
Look at him go. That was from
Freeze?
he was a former camper. His name was Gil Moss from Camp Wannaweep.
Camp Wanna Weep. Because then they eventually like, yeah, it was just ugh. The whole episode
want to weep.
freaky.
Dude, he's got powers and ability. He's skilled swimming. He's a fucking mutant. Superhuman agility,
Oh my God.
strength. This is
Powers
insane.
and
They
abilities.
overpower him.
Oh my god, like it was for so long. I just could not have a good night's sleep. It was what stunted my growth. That's why I'm 5'4".
Oh, I just can't fathom you being afraid of this. It's the best.
I have one that's coming specifically to mind right now.
What?
That's really stupid, but also really funny. Back when Halloween decorations were really cheap, and you could buy that and not like go bankrupt buying a Halloween decoration. We had this like floating skeleton type thing where if you like walked past it, it would like shake and make like a weird ghost-like noise.
It's the classic move and just make noise.
Yeah.
Halloween. It's so good every time.
And I remember as a kid, I was like terrified of it. It would like go off and then I'd like hide behind the couch because it was like freaking me out so bad. And I would like walk up and poke it and then it would go off again and then I'd run away again.
It's like the enrichment things they have at the zoo, you know.
My dad used to have this mask, and it was very reminiscent of the Courage the Cowardly Dog mask that uses to scare him.
Yeah.
And my dad used to use that to get me to go to sleep, or if I was being, a
Oh,
little shithead kid, he would just pull that out and be like, ah, and I'd run off into my room screaming.
That there was. Well, I lived in Wisconsin at one point, and
Whoa,
compared to where I live now, we had basements in. I was never like, I was telling these guys this before. I was never scared of the dark as a kid. You know, that's like one of the prevalent ones that most people know of. But I was scared of the basement dark because like the half unfinished basement and it's cold and your bare feet on the concrete, it's just a different kind of darkness in the basement.
You kind of feel like someone's watching.
Right? And I remember it's like not like, usually in rooms you enter and then the lights on like the immediate entrance of the doorway, but for some reason the basement you had to cross like half the basement to get to the light. So you're like just walking in pitch black and I'm like, this is terrifying.
I just imagine little baby Marshall sprinting across the dark basement into the dark floor level of the house, but it's still dark, and he's like, whew, that was a close one. It's still pitch black up here, but it's not basement dark.
It's not basement dark. It's completely different. Well,
I
was
have
also like
hardwood
a
floors.
kid, so like the rest of the house was never like dark, Like the only time it would get dark was when it would be like time to go to bed, and you're like in your bed, so it's like
I'm not
you're
awake
good.
during the dark time, so
Doesn't exist.
not quite like Alaska.
Alaska.
I remember
Oh god.
I had a neighbor, and I watched him start playing the first few minutes of Silent Hill Homecoming, which is not one of the better Silent Hills, but the first 10 minutes take place in a hospital, and a lot of what happened there freaked me out as a youth. And then as an adult, I actually bought a used copy of Silent Hill Homecoming.
I was just wanting to go next.
Yes, Trace.
Ruin his flow.
Okay.
If I have something to say, I'll
Throw
throw
up
up
my
another
groove.
hand.
Okay, I'll throw up. No, so anyway, basically, long story short, I played Silent Hill Homecoming, and then I got through the first 10 minutes. I was like, okay, yeah, this holds up pretty good. And then, like, the rest of the game, I was like,
Oh no.
Quick, I had the same kind of thing. I went to play BioShock for the first time ever, and then I got like 3 minutes in. I'm like, this is too scary. I'm gonna stop now and play something else.
I remember forcing you to play the first little
God,
bit
I tried
of,
doing that
Dead
again.
Space.
This time I wasn't drunk and didn't have it on a high difficulty, and it was still scary. It was the remake, so it was like a little better, like animations and stuff. And I'm like, I can't do this.
So, Halo 3 was the first game of the Halo installments I ever played. When that came out, I was probably I was 10 when it came out. I must have been like 11 or 12 years old when I played it. The flood levels scared the shit out of me to the point where like I couldn't play it after like the sun went down, and even just sitting on the Halo 3 title screen, like with the very, very familiar theme that it has, just scared me. I was like, I can't be on the title screen. I have to get out of the title screen as quick as I can. I need to get into multiplayer Forge. Great, I'm a little ball, thank God.
Trey's trying to navigate the screen with his eyes closed.
No, it wasn't even like a side thing. It was just like the noise like was not it was fucking with my head. I'm like, no, this is scary. The flood's gonna come. Not the flood.
No.
So I guess to piggyback off of all the video game stuff, it doesn't outright entail a video game, but it's a movie based on a video game that we have watched on the show before.
Oh God.
Doom.
I could go in two directions here, so I guess I could do both. The first one is like, I was at a friend's house and he was like, "You want to watch Resident Evil?" I was like, "Okay, cool." I mean, I like Resident Evil 4, and I was in probably like 4th grade at this point, and
50 years.
I got through 90% of the movie, and then towards the end when they're on like the train to get out, I think it's a train. But when they're on the train to get out, I just started like crying and like being so scared. And my friend's dad like came over and was like, "Hey, there's no monsters in here because I killed them all. So just remember that. Like, thank me later. It's okay."
Thank me later. Did you ever thank him?
Yeah, I was like, "Thank you."
Okay.
But
Brownie showed up 20 years later. Hey, thanks. And then the guy's on his he's on his fucking
he
deathbed.
doesn't live at that house anymore.
You're welcome.
But looking back, it's like that movie's not even that good to begin with. So like, I cry for a different reason now. It's bad.
I have to imagine it was just like you were in emotional distress the whole runtime, and then just like the last 10 minutes you're at your breaking point. You're like, this is it. I can't hold it in anymore.
And then the second one, this is the video game, but like the same friend who got me to watch Resident Evil and got me to play Resident Evil 4 was like, let's play Doom 3, which is actually like the horror-based Doom game that nobody likes in the Doom franchise, but I love it.
Doom fries.
And we played like maybe 5 minutes of it before I was like, we gotta turn this off. I'm getting really scared.
I'm getting a little scared, guys.
I'm a little scared.
I seem to remember the first 5 minutes.
I have
being
no memory of
boring
Doom
as
3.
That's like always the worst when you're at like if you're not at your own place and you're at your friend.
Oh
and
yeah.
Like, oh, can we not do this? This is terrifying. They just look at you like, what a bitch, you know? Like,
I left the guy's house early from a sleepover because of that. I was just like, I don't know about this. And he's like, well, then I guess you could call your mom and get you to go home. And I was like, okay. So I just had them call my parents.
I guess you could like call your mom if you're a bitch. I don't know.
All right, okay, fine. I'm not gonna tell him a bitch.
Trace is like, hi, 1-800, I'm a bitch.
Why? I'm a bitch.
I had a friend, like, he was like, pull out a copy of like Twisted Metal or something like that. And,
Hell yeah.
And I was like, we were like young, so I don't know how he got it, you know, like, because obviously we're at the young age where his parents wouldn't have bought that for him, right? Like, he's just somehow acquired in the, you know, was handed by the gods, you know. And he was like, "You want to play this? I heard it's like fun." And I'm like, "It's scary."
I don't know about this.
He hit it on like behind a dresser or something, so we had to move like pieces of furniture to get to this game, you know. And he's like, "Look at it." I'm like, "It looks scary. Look at the little clown guy."
Oh God! Oh wait, fuck! What were we playing? We played something recently that was really stupid. The character was in a cornfield, and it scared the shit out of Jobe. And it was the funniest fucking thing.
It was that collection.
I don't remember which one it was, but it was just the entire time playing. We were all just like, yeah, this is pretty tame. This is pretty tame. Something like a little baby jumps across the screen. I don't think I've seen Jobe jump higher. He was out, like almost through the controller. Like,
I don't know.
So fucking good.
Well, that's the thing. I was in such a headspace of this is stupid. This is also fucking stupid. And then something actually happened.
Jobe spent like the first 20 minutes going, "No, guys, this is really scary. It's really scary."
Shut up. No, I wasn't.
It was alright.
Mortuary's assistant was good.
That one when Jobe was actively like, we're like, dude, just go over there. I'm not fucking going over there. There's something over there. I'm not fucking doing it. I'll back into it. I'm not looking.
I just have memories of us playing Layers of Fear, and then there's that little baby that runs into the wall.
I think that's the funniest scary game I've ever seen. It's the best scene in the game.
I think we laughed for 20 minutes straight after that moment.
And then we figured out we can keep triggering the event to happen. So it's just the baby walking, a little pattering of feet. Conk. Clap, 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 clap. Punk. Ah. It was Marshall in the basement.
In the light on in the basement. One of my friends when I was a young kid, he had his backyard backed up to a wooded area.
Oh, love that.
And he kept telling me, he told everyone that came over, it was like there's a termite ridden tree stump, it looked all torn up or whatever, right? And he goes, you have to hold your breath when you walk by it because it's poisonous. So not gonna lie, we legit held our breath every time we walked by it for maybe 2 years. And we went over to his house quite often. And then one day we didn't, and we're like, oh my God, we're poison proof. So it wasn't really scary, jump scare, but it was the fear of death,
That's the short story.
We had something similar with my friend where he would his family.
Poison stump?
No, but they had their own little urban legend in their family that terrified every single one of them, and I never understood it, but I got on board immediately because I didn't want to chance it. And I'm still not going to. So the thing is, you can't say the plural of blue flower. That is their entire thing in their family. Otherwise, horrible things happen to you. At one point in their family, years ago, one of their aunts said blue flower in the plural, and the next day she got hit by a car. And then everybody's like, it's a coincidence. Next time somebody does it, it was her son or something. He says the same thing, tried to recreate the story. Yeah, she said blue flower, but he said the plural. His fucking dog gets run over by a car. And horrible things keep happening to the point where his mom told us about this. Well, yeah.
I think we should just stay away from cars.
Oddly enough, we were in a car when we were told this story, and my friend, being the shithead he is, says blue flower with the plural. She immediately kicks him out of the car and is like, you're walking home. I'm not fucking kidding. Daniel, get out of the car right now. And he had to walk 2 miles back to his house.
I mean, I think there's some majesty in being a kid and just hearing something and going, yeah, that sounds right,
Yeah.
There
So that
was
day I was like, oh no.
when
say
in that
that.
same area where I lived, there was one house that had like that their driveway was really long, right? Connected to like this to at the actual street. So like if you had to go visit them, you had to walk up their long driveway. And they had a pool, which was like crazy in Wisconsin. So it was like the only people in like the vicinity you could go hang out that have a pool. And someone told me that they were cannibals, so I believed that until I never actually saw them. But I just believed like, oh yeah, that's where the cannibals live, you know, with the pool. But they're nice because they don't want to eat kids.
I mean, there is. I think Wisconsin is one of the big states that has like the
Don't say that.
with the Wendigo cryptid. No, like that like each state has its own cryptid. All those northern states do have like that. Oh, there's Wendigos.
There's also the Hodag. Shout out Hodags.
Hodag. Good old Hodags.
What else do I need to cover here on my list? We watched the movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, but the books had some freaky cover art that terrified me. I don't know. It was
the whale woman or whatever her name is. The pale. What was the
yeah?
big,
I mean, just
one?
like just the art style too. Like it was just all
because like that was one that I had in my memory bank too. Is like, why did they let that around elementary school kids? Like the stories themselves aren't
they're horrible. No, it's just the imagery is awful.
I remember specifically it was like there was a lady in her car and someone was following her in a car and kept flashing her lights and she's like, this guy's following me, and he's like, oh, there's someone in your back seat. And I'm like, that's not scary. But like the actual art that's in these books was like terrifying for little kids.
But like that was like one of the legends that went around here too, of like if you don't check your back seats, then there's a chance somebody will be in your back seat and will kill you while you're driving. Looking back, it doesn't make much sense because like if you're killing them when you're driving, you're gonna get in a fucking car accident, you'll die. But for years, like stuff like that, or like my dad used to tell me these things like, yeah, we used to have to like look under our cars from a distance because there used to be a guy with just like a razor blade would like slice your Achilles tendon when you got in your car, and he would drag people underneath and kill them. And that was a big rampant thing when we were growing up. So for years, I was just like, cool, I'm never getting in a car then, I guess. Because there's too much shit that could go wrong. A guy could slice my legs off, or he's gonna cut my throat in the middle of the back seat. I don't know. Not a car. I don't know.
It sounds like over in your neck of the woods, everyone should just stay away from
town's
cars.
a fucking shit show. We had a fucking cult like 30 years ago.
In terms of like unbiased, quicksand and like dynamite were huge when I was younger.
Okay, quicksand I get. I'm right there with you. Like they were like, be careful around. Here's what you do, and I'm like, we live in the middle of the fucking nowhere with quicksand. Why dynamite?
Well, you know, what if you're just sitting there and some dynamite catches fire after?
What if you're just holding a fucking Roman candle? This isn't a Roman candle.
What if you're just there trying to light up a stogie, but someone swaps it out with a stick of TNT?
This isn't my stogie.
Hey, wait a minute. And then it blows up and it just has that one little explode out.
It could be around, you know?
I need to get like a diffused dynamite from Marshall. And by diffused, I mean just pull the little fuse out.
Dynamite was right here.
Defused.
Is no longer fused.
As in,
get the gunpowder out.
Use it. Okay, I have one last video game one I want to bring up.
Kitty Island Adventure.
It's not actually like it's scared. No, this game it scared me while I was playing it, but it never like stuck with me outside. No, it was just like I just had dread while playing it, but I kept wanting to continue through the story. It was Shadow of the Colossus. Like,
didn't that just get like a remake or something a couple years ago?
Yeah, and it's still bad. No, it's so
it's a good game, but it's just you, your horse,
exactly.
And these
no fun. It's
demons.
The same thing over and over.
You're just supposed to kill.
No, I'm not wrong. That is the premise of the game.
That is the premise of the game.
No, but you tackle each one in a different way.
You stab it in the weak point, but this weak point's on his thigh.
I mean, you could say that about any video game. Doom sucks because it's just shooting. Oh, this time you guess what? Shoot the demon.
Let's see. Recently with the
Bad person, bad
occurrence
person.
of Fallout in media, Cazadors and Deathclaws jumping out of nowhere in Fallout New Vegas were terrifying because I remember because Cazadors were like mosquito wasp hybrid kind of things that were massive, and you get stung by one, you're poisoned for like 9 years. I just remember dreading getting hit by one because I'm like, God damn it, I have no anti-poison on me. So I gotta go.
How am I gonna stop this?
I'm just gonna die here, and you just see your life just start ticking away, and you're like, ah.
How do I counteract the anti-red?
Um,
I think the movie that probably scared me the most as a kid though was Jeepers Creepers, because
I have
was
never seen them.
It's not even that scary looking back at it. It's just one of those, like, back then it was terrifying, and I was way too young to see it. Like, I think I was probably 7, 8 years old when I saw it, and our friend showed it to us, and she's like, "Yeah, this is a really good movie." We watch it, and the whole movie just freaked the fuck out of me. And there's like the scene where he throws the little fucking shuriken, but it's like has a belly button in the middle and it has razor blades that it uses, and it hits the tire on the bus. I don't even remember if he kills anybody on the bus. But I was terrified of riding a bus for like 2 weeks, and my parents had to drive me to school.
that looks like a freaky movie.
Why are all of your stories related to cars
Hey,
or other
motor vehicles?
somehow?
Scary shit.
I
It's all we
can
had
agree with
back
that.
It's pretty good, Brownie.
That's fair.
Jobe wanted to talk about creepypastas, and
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
like fettuccine.
preface, I watched maybe one. I think was Slenderman
like-
creepypasta. Does that count?
Yeah, like
Who?
I remember
Slender Man
playing
count.
like the Slenderman game in like my shop
Oh, yeah.
class because like you're done with your shop stuff, so you can just go play on the
Bro.
computer.
the original Slender game was so creepy to me when I
Yeah.
played
It was kind of creepy, but like I never like Salad. Was that Salad Fingers was another one? I'm assuming.
Oh
Joe?
yeah. Was that not?
That was a YouTube. Yeah, that was
Oh.
Because I remember people talking about that like being scared, and I'm like, this is kind of stupid. But
Old
like,
Greg.
I don't know.
Not old Greg.
You mean the Noel Fielding?
I got a mangina.
But for like playing Slenderman back in the day in like 2012 or whatever it was, and you're like, oh my god, you gotta find the pages, and you're
Yeah.
like, and you get to like the 4th page, and you just start dying immediately.
But I also remember when you beat it, you get like another mode where it's like daytime, but it's still happening. And then
Alright.
there's
Some
one
people
where
never
it's
beat
like,
the game, Brownie. Some people kept
Spoilers,
dying.
dude.
there's another version where anytime he's near, there's this song that plays where it's like, "Hey, give me $20."
Before we do our little break, since we're still on the theme of video games, anybody ever play cool math games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
No.
You see the block source. Tum, 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 tum,
Fuck
tum,
off.
tum, tum. Ah!
Nope, block doors.
Terrified of edges.
Block Swords.
Sorry, of edging. My bad.
So we're doing our pre-sun break. Joe Burry tucked into his.
Yeah. I have to because Jobe's fucking.
Oh no, I
like a
broke my
maniac.
straw. Okay, we'll
Fucking
catch you
bitch.
on the flip side, viewer. Yeah.
That's a good point, Marshall.
He said a bad word.
Back to the topic.
Yeah. So
Uh,
no.
when I was a kid. No,
Job scary. Job talk.
Go on, Joe.
Job is really scared.
Nah,
movie.
you don't know anything.
When I was a kid, I like to read scary stories online, such as creepypastas or the stories you find over on No Sleep. But it was always the thing of like I'd read enough that I would then not be able to sleep for like a week, and then I'd go,
Ooh,
I'm
there's
never
some
doing
new
that
post.
shit again. Then a week later, I'd be like, "Well, I'm probably more powerful
powerful.
now. I bet I can take them."
And
Then I couldn't.
So, like, what were some of the examples? Because I've never heard of these, like no sleep or whatever.
I haven't heard of No Sleep. I know, but I'm
so
not creepypasta.
the one that probably fucked me up the most, and I mean, like, no sleeps. You could probably just call
Yeah,
it
No Sleep is
creepypastas,
better,
'cause
though.
that's basically what they are.
Yeah, get into the dark web, you pussy.
No, don't do that.
I mean, one of the ones that really me as a child was I forget what it was called. It was like the knock game or something, and basically it's like oh hi, I'm a mom, and the story's told from my perspective. I sent my boy to school and he made friends with two weird children, and now he's acting weird, and they keep talking about this game that they're playing. And to make a long story short, it's one of those, once if you lose the game, you get your
Hell yeah.
soul
Yeah.
sucked.
So
And-
sucked.
One of the stipulations that's like, you know, you're about to lose when you start hearing knocks at doors,
Huh.
but nobody's there, or you start to see figures and mirrors when the lights are out. And it scared me so much that I would always like reach in and turn the
Jesus
lights on in the
Christ.
bathroom.
I'm kind of
before I-
surprised I
No.
haven't covered that on Creepcast yet.
That I could see that being. It depends
It
if it was
will.
like really well written.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, if you can get your friends like
in my
hooked
mind,
on
it
that
was.
shit and make them think it's like a real thing, that could really fuck with people too.
because if it's just you can have someone else be like, nah,
Yeah.
it's not real. But if there's someone else also is like, dude, the knocking, and you're like, fuck, you're right.
Well, for me, what got me was they went through the rules, right? And then they're like, the last rule is, once you know the rules, you're in the game. And I read that, and I was like, oh no!
I wish I would have known Jobe back then, because my
I'm
fucking
in the
stupid ass would
game!
have ran over to his house and started knocking on his fucking window and taking off down the street.
I guess I don't know how old you guys were when this stuff became super popular at the time. Because, like, I was in high school when creepypasta was.
Oh, I wasn't even born then, Brownie.
I remember, like,
no!
it was like middle school for me, so like
Yeah.
you know, around there.
Because, like, I remember.
I have access to
Yeah,
technology
6th,
and look
7th
up
grade.
stuff. That's when you
I
start getting that.
remember when I was in high school and, like, Slender was really big, so my friends and I would play Slender in the darkness of my basement. So that
Oh,
adds
yeah.
an extra layer.
Yep.
Or
Yeah, no.
we never read it until, and I never heard the actual story of it until recently when it was covered on a podcast that I watch on YouTube. But Jeff the Killer, like, the image freaked me out when I was in high school. But that story is awful. Like, it is so bad. It is terrible. But that image used to freak me out.
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
have
I know now.
I have two. One, this one's so bad. Super Mario Sunshine has these levels where Bowser Jr. is like negative Mario and takes your stuff, but he can also like run around sometimes too. And he kind of freaked me out. Just the design of Mario, but like the swirling inky blackness. Scary. Yeah, no, I get it. You can laugh.
Nice sunny day. Mario pops up.
But the other one was, do y'all ever try doing that? What was it? Where you go in the bathroom and say something
Bloody
about
Mary.
Mary?
Okay.
Yeah,
Bloody
me and
Mary.
my friend-
I was gonna bring this up too.
Yeah. There's another. Wait, is Candyman one of the mirror ones? I can't remember
Candyman's
now.
another one too.
Yeah.
No, we tried doing the Bloody Mary one as kids, and we had like a little like camera, and we're like, we're gonna get it, and then like I guess probably how it was, the camera like reflected something into
Yeah.
the mirror, and we're like, "Ah!"
No,
we all
that's
ran out of the bathroom in this little tiny bathroom with 3 like middle schoolers. They're all like plumped in there.
look. I'm sure I had like a similar thing. We fucked with a Ouija board once, and
you're not
it was
supposed to do that.
hey, we were stupid kids, and it was in my friend's closet, and we went, "Ooh, look at that!" It was like the start of a shitty early 2000s horror movie. So
So you know how Trey says every time in every scary movie he wouldn't do that? He's fucking with the Ouija board just
yeah,
randomly.
when I was a kid,
You
when I
already
was a
did it.
kid, I was a kid. I was a
He
kid.
did
I was,
it.
I was in like I was like 7th grade.
He did it.
So
Did it.
we grab it, and like there's only 3 of us, and we had to take it to our other friend's house because his mom, knowingly having the Ouija board in the house, still was like, if you touch that, I'm gonna break your fucking arm. Same blue flower lady. So we had to take it over to our other friend's house, and we were home alone because we're like, oh, we can't have this going on with our parents here. So we started recording it on one of our really old shitty flip phones because that's all we had back in the day. And we just, we did the whole, hey, is there anybody there? Blah, 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 talking to it. And we played it back, and you could hear our 3 distinct voices, and then you could hear like what we thought at the time was like something screaming. And we fucking took off out of the house and we went to a nearby park because we're like, we can't stay in that house. We're fucked. Looking back, it was probably something with old technology and, something fucking up with it. But it was still really scary at the time.
It's still following you.
Every once in a while, I'll wake up and there's little cuts on my fingers, and the same friend was like, you're getting killed by a ghost, but it can't manifest enough in the real world, so it's just cutting you like one finger at a time until you bleed out. I did. No, I genuinely did. I love those guys still because we fucked with each other all the time, but a couple of them were actually pretty cool guys. But for the most part, yeah, I had really shitty friends back in the day.
I used to eat worms as a kid.
I mean,
we know.
Oh yeah,
You used to eat them dirt pies. You know what I'm saying?
Marshall running outside after a heavy rain, and he just gets a big handful of night crawlers. He's like, dinner.
I'm chained up because they're like, don't let him out.
Oh god, it's gonna rain this week. Marshall, do you want to go out and hang out with us this weekend? I can't, guys. It's gonna rain. What is that? What do you mean? Oh, is it like it's a full moon? You're a werewolf? No, worse.
No.
Come by my house on Friday and you'll see the thunderstorm starts as his dad's nailing a stake into the
You
ground.
just see me worming over there, just fucking. Those little sticks that they have that they use for vibrations
Yeah.
to worm, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm grabbing these fucking things, and I got worm juices flowing down my face. It wasn't like that at all back in
I
the
think
day.
I'm actually scared now.
He then turns into a giant.
My dude.
Now he must ask
My
his wife.
Arrakis.
It's one of those things where he's eaten so many worms in his life that they stopped him at the very edge of it. If he eats one more worm, he will turn into one.
Yeah, but I've eaten so many worms. I do have like a damage modifier on worms, so
They're afraid of me, so I have +2 against worms.
yeah.
Anybody else afraid of the Courage the Cowardly Dog episode with the Return the Plaque guy?
I just was scared of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Well, okay, yeah,
the show in general.
that series is like creepypasta animated. No, that specific episode though, I was like, oh, that guy's
for
creepy.
me, I think I didn't watch that one until I thought it was really funny.
Oh, no, okay, yeah. Looking
What's your
back on
offer?
it, that is one of the funniest episodes because he's so obsessed with it.
Yeah,
It's like it's a plaque, and it's like, it's mine.
for me, the specific Courage episode that fucked me up, it's like a vague recollection. But basically, Muriel joins a quilting club, and then at some point during the episode,
Oh,
they're,
yeah,
quilting
yeah, I
her
remember that one.
soul into the blanket of fabric of reality and time, and she's like, "Don't worry, Courage, everything's gonna be okay." As she's
I mean,
like
a lot of
disappearing into
Cartoon
the
Network
void, and I was
shows
like,
back in the day
"Ugh."
would just have like some
Oh,
like
they were
normal
just-
episodes, and then would just have some of
Yeah.
the like freak it. There was that one, it was it was a Ben 10
Just-
Ultimate Alien one, or there was like it was like his guy's name was like Sunblast or something.
Oh,
And
Dark Star.
Dark Star. That episode, like I
Yep.
remember, like scary as a kid, or
The Courage
like-
one that gets me still is the one with his parents.
the codename Kids Next Door, the dad or whatever, the villain, that one was always
Oh,
like
Father?
all black.
Yeah,
Father.
Father.
He was just because you never like saw him for like most of the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it turns out he's like this really small guy.
He's a
Right.
fucking
But like
nerd.
but you see him for like the whole thing, you're like, oh my god, it's just scary, you know?
There's a guy and he's on fire.
It's just
Oh my
scary.
god.
Then
There-
Marshall watched the Fantastic Four and he shit his pants.
Oh my
I don't
God.
I don't remember what Courage episode this is. but like I just remember this image of it where there's just like this floating human head. Like it's not drawn, it's not a cartoon, it's actually a human head in black and white.
Oh, I don't remember
And
that.
it's pretty freaking wild.
I mean, yeah,
I'll see
that
if I can
whole
find it.
Hey, freaky.
that whole show was terrifying, but I also just loved it for some reason.
Let me. I want to say
yes,
there
that's
might
a
have been
lot.
like a Scooby Doo episode that what could have been a little scary, but I don't think so.
I don't know. Those ones are still just kind of wacky and zany.
Because I feel like I was too old whenever I watched them. Whenever they
Yeah.
started getting more scary.
Where
Or
should
like,
I put this?
Is it?
Let's put it in here.
Throw it anywhere.
yeah, let me see.
Is
Remember
the
Adventures
the
of Billy and
mask?
Mandy wasn't scary either, and
No, it was just some of the imagery was very gross sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, fuck.
Um,
Banucula? Did you ever read that book?
I'm sorry.
Banicula.
What?
Banicula.
Oh, Banicula.
I
little-
remember
that's-
that
it's-
book.
They're just like, it's a bunny, but
That's
it's a,
scary though.
it's a vampire.
Oh, you better.
It's
No,
a Dracula
no,
vampire.
Never
bunny.
heard of that. It looks
Straight.
adorable.
It's great.
It's fine.
It's fun.
Trace doesn't know how to read. That's why he's
I-
hating
It's
on
cute.
books.
No, Marshall, you know that I've read things because I know what you've read because we've read the same stuff.
What have we read?
Warriors.
Oh yeah.
Now, Warriors.
The best book series known to man.
Now,
Go read it. Especially if you're in middle school and impressionable.
Just thinking
Speaking
back
of-
to middle school Marshall is what's scary, honestly.
Right?
I never Naruto ran anywhere, but I would read Naruto
I would
in
never.
class,
dating.
like religiously. Jobe wanted to say something. Go on, Jobe.
Naruto is my Bible.
It's true, but I didn't want to throw you off your rhythm.
What is this? The
by
Emperor's New
continuing
Groove?
my sentence while you were.
You like jazz?
You like that?
So I know we're talking about things that scared us, but real quick, something that probably should have scared me but never did was I read a couple
yeah.
Stephen King books when I was a kid. I think for me it was just that like whatever scary shit was happening, there would always be some off the cuff
yeah.
sexual
Throws it
stuff
out.
happening. And to my young brain, it was just like so I was like, ooh, I can't believe I'm reading this, that it basically overshadowed anything scary that was happening.
This one's really stupid, but I was in France. We were in Paris, Eiffel Tower, and I had a buddy, and he goes, "I don't want to go all the way to the top because I've seen this thing fall down in so many movies, so it's scary to me."
Fair.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like you're just trying to hide that you're scared of heights because
No.
it's tall, but I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never been up high
No.
with you anywhere else, so I don't really have any basis to judge. But saying, "Oh yeah, I've seen the Eiffel Tower fall in like Transformers or something, whatever it was."
What if the Decepticons attack?
There could
No.
be right here.
I think it's called something different now, but back when I was there, it was called the Sears Tower, and it has that like sky deck thing that you walk on, and it's like millions of miles up. And we went for a class thing, and I was just like, everybody else is on
The
it.
Willis
and,
Tower.
Willis Tower, yeah, that's what it is now. And they, everybody's like, "Oh, come on, just go." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna do it. My luck, it's gonna fucking crack when I'm on it. I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's too high up. It's freaking me the fuck out." They're like, no. Look, it's fine. Look, Walker's over there, and he's on it. And I look over, fucking asshole. One of my friends from high school, he's fucking jumping up and down on it, trying to get its crack. And I was like, no, because fucking Walker's gonna break it. I'm not doing it.
Interesting.
And so I was just terrified of that. Then
Texas Ranger.
that's what we called him.
I could see that.
The week after we went there, we came back. There was a fucking big news thing that came up, and it was like, the Sears Tower sky deck is cracked. And I was like, I fucking told all you assholes. Walker fucking broke it.
It's pretty scary.
It's pretty scary. Yeah, in Spain.
I don't have anything else with it.
Okay. Point, Chris.
What? Okay, actually, no. Points of trade.
Something very real I was terrified of back in the day was my dad. He's not like it's not like he wasn't like he's a good dad. He's not bad. He didn't hit me or anything. It's just the things I saw him do. Like there was a time where my parents got in an argument and he was very angry, and I watched him shatter a lamp that was like a 1-inch thick ceramic lamp, and he shattered it with a towel.
That's kind of badass.
And I was just like, oh shit, Dad's doing scary shit.
I remember I was always scared of things because my parents said they were scary. Like when I watched, it was Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban, there's that scene where he turns into a werewolf and it's like kind of frightening. Like it's still just a scary scene, but my parents said, hey, this is a really scary scene coming up. So then I go into it thinking it's going to be scary, and then I watch it like, fuck, they're right.
Oh my god, that's so
Oh my god.
I have to imagine that young Marshall was just a bundle of nerves
He's
at any
He's just
time.
like one really scary Kim Possible episode away from crying.
I mean, there was always a good episode every now and then. I'm just like, ugh. Like Avatar, there's that one where she learns Charlin's bloodbending, which is a little freaky.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know,
I think
my
every show that Marshall's watched, there's at least one episode where he goes, no.
like there's always a couple every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
I can't really think of any other shows that I'd be like, Ed and Eddie did have the one where I think Eddie fought Ralph with beets or something, and he like threw him down into a pit, and like it just had a big like looking up at Ralph, and then like lightning strikes in the distance, and he's about to like, oh no, it was fish. He was slapping him around with a fish.
Honestly.
Oh, motherfucking
For Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Poe, the face stealer from Avatar, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna steal the face.
Oh
was-
yeah, and the
what if he's
in the Avatar state world.
Yeah, in the spirit realm. Everyone
Yeah.
knows the good old spirit realm. Let's see.
The Shadow Realm scared me.
Oh,
Dude,
the
every
actual,
time
the original Yu-Gi-Oh, like before they got into the card game and stuff.
Yeah.
Where he was like fucking around with terrorists, and what was it?
Yeah.
Bakugan was like stabbing his hand through castles because that's where like the good guy was inside his hand. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In the
like,
the role playing game.
He was fucking like
You know, hanging off the side of
called.
What was it? Like buildings and shit. You know, like killing people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was like fucking mind shattering people. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
called.
Mind Shatter was like he actually like
into
broke
the
them.
Shadow Realm. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually just went, "Hey, you want to go to hell?"
Which
No,
was
that
honestly
sucks.
like super fun, like the idea of it, because he was like king of games,
yeah.
so it was like all games. But then they started getting a little silly, and it's like, oh, Joey's in a gang that uses yo-yos, and everyone's like, of course, the
like,
yo-yo gang.
Yeah.
It's honestly a decent enough premise because it's just like when you get down to the actual show now, it's like, man, he's really good at a quad game.
Right?
Wow.
Because that was the thing. The last episode of season 0 was like them playing Kaiba, which ends up being like the first episode of the actual show. But like, I remember there was like a dungeon. It was Dungeon Dice game, and then there was like
Dungeon Dice
RPG
Monsters.
Dungeon Dice Monsters.
Loved
There was an
that
RPG game with Bakugan. It was like a 2-parter. There was the terrorist bomber in the Ferris wheel.
Yep.
There was one that like they had to use cards and like they were climbing up the side of a building or something. Joey and a gang. There was them on like a hot griddle they were playing on or some shit like that. It was just there was a lot of weird circumstances. This is a little frightening.
They're
Dark Yugi Yami
What
was
if
like
this
actually
happens?
scary. You know, like
They-
he would not be scared to kill someone.
they were playing a game on a McGriddle, you know.
Oh, there's the one where he like lit someone on fire. Remember when the guy came in to rob the like convenient? It was like a restaurant or something, and they're like, "Oh, let's play a game. You can only move one finger." And the guy's like, "I'm going to use my finger that's on my gun." And Yugi like lights a lighter and puts it on him or whatever, and then like actually kills this guy.
Jesus Christ.
Like I'm like, holy fuck! And then it's like, now we play with cards.
You lit me on fire, and now I play Dark Magician in defense mode.
So you passed your turn.
I won with the power of my friends.
Main phase 1. Okay,
I
draw.
believe in the heart of the cards. You lit a guy on fire.
Because
the
it was the
heart
heart
of
of
the
the cards that told me to do that.
Yeah.
I will say, this will probably be the last one that I can think of in the moment. We used to have this Halloween party over at like the park. Like, there's a community center in the park by my parents' house, and this was like the early 2000s. So like, there was that bit where it's like you walk into this room and it's like, close your eyes and stick your hand in the bowl, and like, you're feeling like eyeballs and stuff. But like, when you walked into this room, they kind of went all out. Like, they actually made like a fake body to put on, and it's like, okay, well, you put your hand in the stomach, and I'm like, this is really creepy to have for like a children's Halloween party.
Did you ever do the thing where it's like, oh, you reach into the bag and it's like eyeballs, but it's just like peeled grapes or whatever, and it's like, oh, this is like intestines, but it's like spaghetti or whatever.
Yeah,
I remember doing the grapes one, and it freaked me out. So I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? Those are actually eyeballs.
Dude, what if it was actually eyeballs?
I mean, that's just always funny to me because it's like, okay, worst case scenario, yes, they're actual eyeballs.
Legally
Who cares? So
you get them at the store.
It doesn't matter. They literally came from like orphans or people who didn't
stored.
have families. It's no big deal.
They're free range eyeballs.
Free range.
You know, other creatures have
these eyeballs were
eyes.
given to us for research on science. This is the research.
Oh my God,
I can tell the difference between a cat eyeball and a human eyeball, please.
When I went to elementary school, it was like a K through 12 school, and where our first grade classrooms were, like down the hall was the seniors or whatever, and they would come down the hall to go toss their trash or whatever for some reason. So they would carry their little dissections down the hall and dump them, and they'd be like, "You want to see a cow eye?" And we'd be like, "Oh!" Well, this is us we're trying to, because it's like recess for us at this time, so we're trying to put our little snow pants on or whatever, because you know, like, it's the middle of Wisconsin winter, and you gotta go to your locker.
I also put mine over my head first.
Put your snow pants on. Your
Marshall's
sweater,
just
your
like
jacket.
you guys. He puts his pants on one head at a time.
You gotta put on your Packers cheese.
Yeah. You're bundled up, and then that's 20 minutes of your 30-minute recess gone.
Yeah.
You gotta go play with plastic frogs or something in the corner.
Ah!
Man, Wisconsin sounds like a trip.
There was like a group of like
Every third word out of your mouth is
this isn't a real state
right
you know
now.
those little plastic frogs? They're like not like one color. No, just like they're just
press
like frogs,
on them and they go
rubber frogs or whatever.
Are they plastic or rubber? I know exactly what Jobe's talking about. They have the little tail. You pinch it down and it goes beep, beep, and it just kind of takes off, and you're like,
no, it was like these. And we would just have like one and be like, "That's me as a frog," and then you'd play with it.
God. Do you guys ever see those like pop-it things? It's just a fucking rubber dome, and you just pinch the middle of it, and it just do a little thing, and then after a while it'd be and it'd pop up into the air.
Yeah, you did it at Chuck E. Cheese, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, this is cool,"
Like,
and then you do it twice, and
this
you're
is
like,
the
"Okay, this
best.
is no longer fun.
I love this thing.
The fun has been finished."
I popped it once. I'm good. That was a great time.
Can I
Thanks,
return
Charles.
this for my 45 tickets, please?
Yeah, I'm done with this actually.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I look. I did get traumatized when I was a kid.
I mean, there was Trace's whole thing where he still can't say the plural of blue flower.
And I'm not gonna. It's not that I'm afraid or worried about it. It's
Right.
just like,
I
what
probably
if?
won't now myself.
I'm gonna say
brought
it.
it up in my mind.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna get hit by fucking car
Better
tomorrow.
play it.
It's
I couldn't
Brownie's
wear a
brought it up.
mask over my whole head until I was 16.
And that was
Yeah,
like
that's
50
that
years
too.
ago.
Jesus.
No,
you guys were-
10 out of 10. Great job.
I mean,
You guys
not
want to
a
know
lot
what's
of.
really scary? The fact that I'm 2 years
Why?
away from being 30. That's what's
God
scary.
damn.
Doxing himself out here.
Brownie is, but is he 32 or 28?
That's a good point. Oh. No, I mean, honestly, I kind of got desensitized real quick in my life because my dad owned a haunted house. That wasn't too bad.
Of course. Trace
But when I was,
he always brings it up.
but when I was younger, my cousin worked in the haunted house and he loved clowns. He had the creepiest fucking clown mask. And they're like, all right, this is your room. You can do it however you want. He had a big like Jack in the Box thing that he could fit in, and he would jump out at people. What he didn't tell people is that he had a black light in there with a bunch of like light up masks of clowns. And he had them like just surrounding the inside of it, and God knows why until I fucking figured it out, because I could go walk through the fucking haunted house for free. My dad owned it. So he would pick me out of the group, and the first time he did it, he goes up, picks me up, because he's like, he's not going to sue, he's part of the family. Puts me in the Jack in the Box thing, and I open my eyes, and there's just glowing masks of like scary ass clowns everywhere. I developed a phobia of clowns for like 3 or 4 years after that.
Yeah, and then the clown thing that happened where people were seeing clowns everywhere. Did y'all? Because I know where I am growing up as a kid, we heard about this and said, let's get in the truck and go look for them, because that's what you do where I am.
No, we did have something weird like that, but it wasn't necessarily like going to find the clowns. Have you ever played Hostage?
I think so.
So it was just this game where like you had 2 teams, or however many teams you wanted. You had the person who was abducted, and then you had the person going to find them. So the other person would drive the abducted person out to wherever they wanted in the middle of could go a mile, 2 miles out of town, however you want, and you would just drop them off. They have to give a phone call and say, all right, so I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this. You have to find them based on landmarks. So we do that with our friend, and we put her in the middle of a creek by an elementary school that was just like far out on the edge of town. And we're like, ha ha ha, this is great. She's gonna not be able to find her way out. You blindfold them getting there so they can't just be like, he took this turn, whatever. So we, are like, all right, we'll shout at you and you can take off your blindfold. So we start walking back to the car, and then all of a sudden we hear this fucking screaming, and we're like, well, what the fuck is that? Is she okay? So we kind of turn back and start to look. There's like 3 fuckers with clown masks and holding something in their hand, like charging at her. And we started freaking the fuck out. We had to run back and get her, and like still didn't have her blindfold off, and we just grabbed her and started pulling her along, and she thought it was still part of the game until we threw her in the car, and we're like, yeah, you almost got killed. Sorry about that. So that was kind of a terrifying thing, because I don't know if the fuckers were just gonna like fuck with them and be like, oh, we got you, or if they're gonna beat her to death with lead pipes.
Well,
Twist metal.
She's still alive to this day, as far as I'm aware. I still see her Instagram story every once in a while.
Oh, that's good.
Shit. Now people know I have an Instagram.
Oh no. God damn.
Doxed.
Oh, speaking of Instagram,
Marshall,
tell them
Marshall, where else can they find us?
TikTok.
It's still good. It's still a good bit. Oh my god, this is
going great. It's going great.
Joe, do you have any exciting news to share?
Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
So there's 2 ways that was going, and that was not the one that I thought it would be.
What is going on?
All right. I don't know. Okay, so why don't you tell the audience? Well,
I'm pregnant.
But...
All right, so we're switching things up a little bit. We're kind of changing gears here. We know we've been doing a lot of scary movies, and it's not that we've exhausted all of our scary movies. It's just something we're like, a lot of these things have been done to death. We watched all these possession movies. You watched one, you watched them all. So we're going to be kind of changing gears a little bit and trying some new stuff, and just we're going to start just doing, other random movies we want to do. Maybe at some point we will just start talking about stupid shit we want to talk about. But for now, catch us next week where we're watching Rango.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be a good time. Love that movie.
Thank you to all our loyal viewers for listening to our...
Especially you.
Yeah, you. To our childish woes and scares. If you had anything that was scary as a kid, leave it in a comment down below, and maybe we'll make fun of you. Not on air, because that'd be mean, but we'll talk about it and be like, look at Booger Boy 47 was scared of rope or something.
And you know what? Maybe we'll have you on an episode to talk about it, and then we'll really make fun of you.
Yeah.
If you want.
Bye now.
Don't count.
Toodaloo.
I'm waving.
I'll see you
Frig out of here.
on the greens.
And thanks to Alex.
Yes.
Brownie
Give us a
for
round of
joining
applause.
us for today's episode.
He's finally out of his coma.
All right,
Congratulations.
Crazy.
Brownie.
Wah!
we're done. We're done.
This is making
We're
it in.
done.
The fuck?
You're done.
No. You're done.